Today we will discuss about the heuristic evaluation. When we consider the heuristic evaluation, it first of all deals with the procedure which is considered as a technique or method of evaluation. So it's the methodological procedure which will have a check for the user interface and will consider the various usability problems which are incurred during designing the user interface. So once the usability problem is detected during the design phase, then it will be attended as an integral part of the constant design process. Your heuristic evaluation method will include Nielsen's 10 most important usability principles. So now we will start listing the Nielsen's 10 heuristic principles. It starts with the visibility of system status. Next is the match between the system and real world. After that, next is user control and freedom, consistency and standards, error prevention, recognition rather than recall, flexibility and efficiency of use, aesthetic and minimalist design, help diagnose and recovery from errors, documentation and help. Now we will discuss all these 10 heuristic Nielsen principles one by one. We will start with the visibility of system status. So we should keep in mind that users are made available about the information that what's going on, and according to the various set of operations, the appropriate feedback should be given to the user within a reasonable amount of time. Second principle deals with match between system and the real world. We should make use of words, phrases and concepts which are familiar to the end users, and we should follow the real world conventions. We should make information appear in the natural and the logical order. Next principle deals with user control and freedom. We should clearly mark emergency exit for the user to leave the unwanted action without having to pass through the extended process. Next is consistency and standards. User should not have to wonder whether different words, situations or actions mean the same thing or not. It should follow the platform and the standard industry conventions. Next one is error prevention. Eliminate the error prone conditions or check for them, and we should present users with a confirmation option before they commit to any particular action. Now it's the time for question for you all. I kindly request you to share your user experience about the principle which we have discussed just now, that's the user control and freedom. So please share your user experience about the user control and freedom in the chat box. Now we will discuss the next heuristic principle. It's recognition rather than recall. So we should always focus on minimizing the user's memory load by making elements, actions, and options clearly visible. The user should not have to recall the information from one part of interface while he is traversing to the next part. Also, the required information should be specific, should have the labels or should use the menus, and it should be easily accessible whenever needed. Next feature is the flexibility and efficiency of use. So the shortcuts should be hidden from the novice users, and it will speed up the interaction for the expert users. The design should cater to both the inexperienced as well as the experienced users, and the user should be allowed to have the tailoring for their frequent actions. Next principle is aesthetic and minimalist design. The interface should not contain irrelevant and rarely needed information. Every extra bit of information in an interface should compete with the relevant units and should diminish their relative visibility. Next principle is help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from the errors. So the errors message should be expressed in a plain language. No use of error code should be done. It should be precise when you indicate the issue, and you should give the constructive suggestion solution. And when it's for the help and documentation as a principle, it's best if the system don't need any additional explanation. Along with that, it's important to provide the documentation for users help, which will help them to understand the task they need to complete. For discussion of all these 10 Nelson's design principles, I have referred this particular link. Thank you all.